I like going hunting, just me, my hound, and my gun. Chasing them deer, rabbit, and squirrel, now that's my kind of fun. I like going fishing too, I'll go on any whim, looking for the big bass, the crappie, and the brim. Give me a wide open field to walk through. Give me an ocean so deep. I want to ride the longest river in the world, or maybe climb the highest mountain peak.
Folks, today we're up at Piedmont Technical College in Roxbury, North Carolina. That's way up from where we are in Birmingham, Alabama, but it's a very unusual campus up here. Now, Ralph Garland here is the instructor. They have a one-year taxidermy course taught up here. Ralph is a taxidermist and was in the taxidermy business, came up here, and he teaches this course up here. And Jackson Elliott is the, now Jackson, I don't know what your title is, tell me.
I'm Vice President of Business and Industry Affairs here and work with the mini course.
That's right. Now, let's explain to them what the mini course is. We've got a good friend, John Crossley, here. Now, John is the man that it invents and develops all of those real pretty eyes for all the animals that we mount in the taxidermy business, including some pretty ones for the Marilyn Monroe dolls. So John has eyes for things other than taxidermists, and he's up here helping us develop new ideas and principles in taxidermy and utilizing his facilities to change quickly to give the taxidermists the most realistic eyes that can be had for the industry. And y'all have a lot of other stuff y'all teach up here too, don't you, Jackson?
Sure do.
You're oriented to jobs, really, aren't you? You teach them something good.
Well, Piedmont Technical College is one of 58 technical and community colleges in North Carolina. We've been in existence since 1970. And as you said, we are job-oriented, and all of our programs are to train people for employment. And as the taxidermy program that we were talking about here, and the mini course, the taxidermy mini course. The taxidermy mini course, this is the 13th annual mini course that's being conducted here now. And it started in 1976 in a snowstorm with 60 people, and again in 66 we had it again in the July time period. It's so hot we cooked people. So
how many we got today?
Well, we have 521 students registered as
from
of
all
today.
over the whole country and other countries.
36 states and Canada.
Now let me explain to them, Jackson. Now this mini course, we bring in the finest instructors in this country, and these taxidermists can come up here for 3 days, what it basically is, and you can go into every kind of mounting that there is by the top people in the country, and that's what they are in all these rooms, and we're going to take the people behind the scenes and show them each part of taxidermy that's being taught in this compressed taxidermy course here. Plus, we're going to carry them down and show them some of the most beautiful work that's ever been done by man on animals and fish. And Ralph, you're going to kind of be our host and carry us around here and show us all this stuff, right?
I sure will be.
And you are the instructor there. We're going to see your classroom, how you set it up, and you can explain to us what people that's interested in learning it from the college level, how to get in here and how to do it and what they can expect.
Right.
All right, well, let's go on and do it.
Okay,
all right. Good. Now, Ralph, what we got going on right here?
What we've got Don Capps from Alabama. He's currently working in our regular taxidermy classroom. This is where our students actually perform their shop and lab duties in the full-time curriculum program at Piedmont Tech. Don is one of the guest instructors here at the mini course, and he is showing the people in this class how to go about skinning and mounting a raccoon.
I see. In other words, he's going to bring it all the way to completion, right?
He will. He will skin it, flesh it, wash it, prepare it, and mount it before he finishes this class this afternoon.
I see, and I notice he's taught them some shaving methods on getting the surplus meat off of it prior to tanning.
Right.
Just in other words, he's a master with that fleshing machine there.
He certainly is.
Of course, you got to show folks how to do it, or you might come up with a finger cut off or something.
You got to be fleshing that one in 2 seconds.
2 seconds. There you go. And Don's a good taxidermist. He's down toward Demopolis, Alabama, and he's got a lot of skill. He's been in the business a long time. Yeah.
That's a mule deer.
I think he's a comedian,
yeah,
too.
I think so, too. All right, let's take them into some of these other classrooms to show them what they can expect behind the scenes here at Piedmont.
Okay, that'd be fine.
Now, Jackson, we got a load of folks up here today, haven't we?
We sure do, and they're from everywhere. Like
Yeah.
I think we said earlier, there's 36 states in Canada, and a few years ago, people asked us, said, well, can we camp out here? And you can see from just looking out across the parking lot here, this is one of 4 parking lots.
And well, they're all full.
Basically all of them are full.
But now what you didn't tell them about Roxborough, Jackson, is that there's not but a couple of 3 motels, and we totally inundate your town when we come up here. So if you didn't have a place to camp, then that'd be sleeping out there on the grass.
That's
wouldn't
about it, and we're working to try to get our 4th motel here so that we'll be able to better accommodate. We've got an airport now that can accommodate fly-in and 4-lane highway, so it's going to be a tremendous place. We already feel it's tremendous, but the future holds even more.
Now, Ralph, what have we got going on right here now?
Okay, this is Willie Austin, and he is mounting a swan. And the swan is one of the hardest birds.
What's a big old thing, ain't it?
Right, it is a tremendously big bird, and that's what makes it so hard to mount. That's what makes it so difficult to mount.
I see.
It's because of the size. Another thing you have to contend with is the white color.
Oh, me. Now, he done cleaned that bird.
Yes, he has already cleaned it, but see where he's using the preservative, he will have to go ahead and blow that out again. And once he blows all that dust and the preservative out of the feathers, it will be completely white, just as snow white as it can be.
So, now, Willie, does he do a lot of these big birds?
He does.
Is birds his specialty?
Swans is his specialty.
Swans is his specialty, I see. And I guess this may be the only opportunity some taxidermists ever get to see of actually a swan getting mounted, because they don't get that many of them to mount, do they?
That's very true. They're limited, you know, and you have, in order to be able to kill a swan, you're drawn from a lottery basis.
I see.
You have to have
so
a
it's not
special
everybody
permit.
that gets to shoot one of them, right?
That's true.
I see.
And I admire a guy like him that'll undertake a project as big as that is. I mean, they are really tremendously hard to mount.
They're big as a turkey, ain't they?
Body size, they are big as a turkey in weight.
I see.
Wingspan and neck, everything combined, they're actually bigger in size than a turkey.
Now he's closing an incision of that head right now, right?
He's getting ready to close the incision at the back of the head at this time.
I see. All right, let's move on and see what's going on in some of these other classrooms.
Very good.
Now, Ralph, what we got going on right here?
All right, this gentleman is Ronald Carter from down in Baxley, Georgia, and he's showing them how he goes about mounting a fox squirrel. And a fox squirrel is a type of animal that is native to his part of the country. We have a few in North Carolina. We don't have any here in Person County where Piedmont Technical College is located. But he does have a lot where he comes from.
Well, it's a pretty black fox squirrel.
It is a beautiful squirrel. And he is showing his methods that he uses in his commercial taxidermy work. He also produces his own forms.
On larger game like
He is one of the more successful taxidermists in his part of the state.
He's in what town?
Baxley,
Georgia.
Baxley, Georgia. Just a small town, but he was very successful.
Ralph, what we got in this classroom?
This is
Well,
Bruce
you need to
Bowlett.
get the
He's
meat
from
out of it,
Wilmington,
because
North
they have a
Carolina.
lot more meat
And
in there to
Wilmington's just
begin
right
with.
down the road to Hopkins
So what
and
you
jump
wanna
from
do
Piedmont Technical
is
College.
probably
And
go
he is
from the
showing how he
outside.
skins and mounts a bobwhite quail.
That's
What
what
is he
I
going to do? Just
suggest.
a
You can
standard
do it
mount?
way.
It will be a standard commercial mount. This is the run-of-the-mill taxidermy, ordinary work that you see.
In other words, this would be kind of your quail is a basic. It's one of our money makers, isn't it? It's a basic type
most of the smaller
bird that they
ducks I
might be
don't.
called a
I do it
mounted
just
in.
like I do
You know,
here.
it's a popular game bird.
I pull it right
And
back
then
down.
a lot of sportsmen want to have 2 or 3 of these little
I
birds
don't.
mounted in a
I don't go from the
habitat setting.
outside.
And
I
it's
go
something
right
that you
here.
get a lot of calls for to mount.
What it is, if you
Now, Ralph, what are we doing here now?
All right, what they're doing in here, this is Ken Tenadini, and he is a specialist in freeze-dry taxidermy. And they're showing the students at this point how to prepare a specimen to go into the freeze-dry chamber.
Now, before we get any further, tell me exactly, for our viewers, what freeze dry really is.
Okay, freeze-drying is where you take a specimen and put it in a vacuum chamber.
You don't skin it or nothing,
You
right?
don't skin it. You take the intestines out of it. You viscerate it. And you go through 3 chemical baths. and then you position the animal in the position that you want it in.
Now, the meat's still in it.
The meat is still in it.
Okay.
That's correct.
Now, this is conventional taxidermy. Now, the meat is taken out and is put on a foam like we
Right.
saw back in the
That
squirrel
was
thing.
conventional taxidermy under Ronald Carter.
Okay.
In this freeze dry, you leave all of the meat in there, all the tissue in. And when you take the intestinal tract out, you replace that with cotton or polyfill, something of that nature. You also take the eyes out and replace them with glass eyes.
I see.
After you do that, you position the animal and pose it like you wish, and then you pre-freeze it, and it goes in that vacuum chamber.
No, you just put it in a regular old deep freeze first, right?
Right, you put it in the deep freeze first and pre-freeze it like you want it.
Okay.
Then you open your freeze dry machine and place it in there. You close it back up, turn it back and pump on, and then that machine draws all the moisture out of that animal and condenses that moisture into ice crystals. And you have to weigh the animals every 10 to 14 days. You stop your machine, you open it back up, and then when your animal stops losing weight, you know that it's dry. And what we mean by dry is where it has removed all the moisture from the tissue. You take it out of the machine, and it's ready.
I see.
It's done.
Now, how long does this take on something like the size of squirrel?
Something the size of a squirrel could take up to 3 months.
3
to
months.
freeze dry.
And that meat will never deteriorate nothing
It will not
because of this
deteriorate.
process. In other words,
That's right.
Now, this is kind of a new wrinkle in taxidermy.
It's
isn't
the
it?
newest wrinkle in taxidermy at this time.
It's got advantages and disadvantages, right?
One disadvantage is that it takes, a little bit longer to do it this way. An advantage is that you don't get any shrinkage or you don't get distortion with freeze dry if it is done correctly.
And you're not limited on any position, right?
No, you're not limited to any position.
That's beautiful. Now, Ralph, we've made quite a few stuck our head in the door interviews here of what's going on up here. And who is this young lady right here?
This, Archie, is Phyllis Gentry. Phyllis is the person behind the scenes that actually coordinates this mini course. She is responsible for putting this show together.
I see. Well, now, how many different things are we got up here, Phyllis? How many different little seminars do we have going on during the process of the time?
We have 45 3-hour classes going on during the 3 days.
3 days, and that took some doing to get all them people in the right pew, did it?
It takes about a year to get the instructors and get the brochures ready and out to the individuals and get them all here.
Okay, well, Ralph, what's some of the other things that we're not going to be able to cover today that you, off the top of your head, that is available to this mini course?
One thing in particular is a class given by Dr. Lee Hunter. It touches on diseases that a taxidermist might come in contact with in dealing with birds, fish, animals, and things of that nature. He goes into the symptoms, the cures, what causes it, why an animal could have a disease, and things of that nature. We also have a habitat class that's given by Tom Ridge. And a habitat is what an animal is found in, its basic environment. Fish is in water. But Tom Ridge is giving this class, and he shows people how to make artificial water, how to make icicles, how to make rose petals.
I remember one he did, made an
everything.
artificial egg, and it looked just like you could stick your finger down in the yellow.
That's
You
correct.
remember that? And he did on that egg, and he's
Yeah.
got this monkey sitting up there eating this banana. That was a nice one too. Well, let's move around and see what else we got available right now.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Ralph, what we got here now?
All right, this is Tom Sexton, and Tom is one of the best fish taxidermists in the United States. 2 years ago, he won the best in the world at the World Championships, and he's giving a fish painting demonstration. He's showing the people how to use an airbrush, what paints are compatible with what, and the actual painting process, what steps that you have to go through. So we kind of caught him in the middle.
Yeah.
And he starts out with step number 1, number 2, number 3, right on down the line until he comes to the finished product.
Put in what I call
He gives them instructions on the blackboard of where the patterns should go.
Right.
And to make them line up, realizing that fish vary all over the country.
That's
From
correct.
one place to another.
See, now one thing about this young man, he is more noted for his competition mounts than he is anything else. There's a difference in commercial taxidermy work and competition work.
In other words, a competition, the amount of time you put on a job has no relationship to anything of economic value.
It does not.
In other words, if you figure you got to spend a month working on a piece to win a ribbon, the time frame is immaterial. You just put whatever amount of time you think is necessary.
That's correct.
To do the very, very, very best job to the most minute detail to win your first and second places.
That's right. I've had competitors to tell me they put 200 and 300 hours into working on one certain piece for a competition. And if you put 200 or 300 hours into one piece for a commercial mount,
you can't get
your
paid.
kid is going to go hungry.
That's right. You can't get paid. I see. Well, Tom really does a nice job. I've seen some of his work, and it is most outstanding. Now, Ralph, we're over here where all the finished stuff is being judged for quality. And what are these two gentlemen? Who are these folks right here?
We have Tony Gilliard from down in Hawthorne, Florida, and Greg Crane from Slidell, Louisiana.
I see.
Both of these gentlemen are noted for their bird taxidermy. They're specialists in their fields, and what they're doing, they are critiquing the work that has been placed in competition right here. They have a score sheet, and they're going down that score sheet and checking for possibility of flaws in the mounted product. See, he even uses a flashlight to check to see if the eyes are clean on the mounts, if there's any dirt, dust, any imperfections anywhere that he can find.
All right, now, Sally Garland here, Sandy is Ralph's wife and helps him in these competitions and adds up all the scores and takes care of the judging.
And she helps teach in the taxidermy program.
Got a female taxidermy teacher.
Right.
There you go. All right, what have we got right here, Sandy?
This is one of our freeze-dry entries. And as you can see, it says it's Small World Studios, Small Taxidermy Studios. And of course, I Know Taxidermy is the name of the taxidermist. And of course, he's obviously won a blue ribbon with his rug making abilities. And of course, this is his freezer, old conventional freezer, you might say, icebox style. This is where he keeps his mounts preserved at.
See, he's got him a rat head mounted up there.
Yeah, this is his head mount, of course.
Head mount.
Yeah, and he's been very busy. Of course, he's a member of the National Taxidermists Association.
Which we all are down here, yeah. The rules of this whole judging is from the National Taxidermy Association's rules, and
of course, he displays that he is definitely a member.
Definitely a member. I see he's got some fish mounted, and he's working on, looks like a scorpion there. He freeze drying that scorpion, ain't he, Ralph?
That's what he's doing. He's using the freeze dry process on that scorpion.
Got him a horny toad right there, and looks like a flying squirrel up here. Now that is a neat little. Now who entered this little piece?
Not allowed to say until the ribbons go on.
I see. Okay. Well, she's a good judge, isn't she, Ralph?
She keeps her word anyway.
But I feel that he has really exhibited some creativity and some imagination in doing this one.
Now, Ralph, what do we got here? Now, there is a good-looking deer head right there.
Well, we have Joe Combs and Don Mathis. Joe is from Louisiana, and Don is from Jonesboro, Georgia. Both of these gentlemen have proven their skill time and time in competitions across the country. When they enter, they win.
In other words, they tough to whip, ain't they?
You can't whip them. You can't beat them. So therefore, we've asked them to come up here to Piedmont Tech and judge our taxidermy competition. Well, that's what these gentlemen are doing right now. They're going over the anatomical characteristics of that white-tailed deer. They're determining what's right and what's wrong with that deer head.
Now, another thing we need to tell them, Ralph, I'm going to just pick this one up right here. And they've got a board here, and they got 25 things that they are judging, and they score these things on every one of these features. And at the end of the time, they make the tally, and the tally here will determine which one gets the blue ribbon or the first place.
That's right.
And the ladies here that are assisting these folks keep up with the tally and do all that. Is that correct?
That's right. The people are actually not competing against one another. They are competing against the scoring system itself.
That's right.
And if you also look on the table, you see reference pictures that they're using. And you also see a cast of a deer's nose. There is no guesswork that goes into judging the taxidermy competition. They have to be right. They can't be
dead
wrong.
on it, hadn't they?
That's right. They got to be dead on it. There's no second guessing.
Now, Ralph, we're over in another department over here at Piedmont where you got all your competition. Now, what have we got here now?
Well, this is we actually didn't have enough room in the first area over there, so this is the second area that we put the competition in. We have the open class categories in here, and what we mean by open class, it's categories that anyone can enter anything that they desire in these certain classes. No restrictions whatsoever.
Good looking little old bear sitting there.
It's very unusual, it sure is.
Now, what have we got here, Ralph? This is a fine looking mount here with all that habitat and all.
Well, what you have there is a deer, and he's standing in what they call the scrape.
Yeah, let's show that right here.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, right in here.
There. You know, this is what they go through during the breeding season. And no buck deer will go out and make him a scrape and leave his sign in that scrape there to attract other deer in his area.
I see. In other words, there's his bush that he breaks down.
Right, he'll be breaking that bush down and knocking it over and everything like that.
I see. All right, what about back in here now?
Well, over here we've got a timber wolf that's been mounted, and you can see that it has a habitat around it also.
Boy, I'm glad them things don't grow in Alabama.
Oh, I tell you, we don't need none of them in North Carolina either.
Boy, that is a big critter. Did you know that?
He certainly is. Right here we have a small mountain lion too. This is a cougar. He's laying there relaxed on a rock.
Uh-huh.
See, this shows you the ingenuity and the ability that taxidermists have.
Now, Ralph, what we got going on now?
We got a pig picking going on here. This is one of the things that always happens during the mini course at Piedmont Technical College. And they barbecue this thing up and then serve it to the people that attend our show.
I see. Boy, that pig is just about being eat up there. They got another one over in that other thing here.
That's
there
right.
There comes old Jackson Elliott. He's getting a plate in his hand right now.
Just snipping.
Jackson, that looks good there, don't it, bud?
Looks like we got some chops on top of the old hog too.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get me a plate, and we're gonna get in here and get us some pork and beans and some stuff. This kind of wraps up the course, don't it?
We'll wrap it up for today.
That's a good conclusion, isn't it?
That's a good conclusion. We want to mention that we have a big supplier where new products are introduced to the taxidermists to get to mingling with the suppliers and the manufacturers and all this kind of stuff, and everybody shares knowledge. Wrap it up with a good fellowship and a good pig picking barbecue. Nothing finer up here at Roxbury, North Carolina at Piedmont College. Ralph, we've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed being part of it, Archie.
And y'all folks stay tuned again for some more Outdoors with Archie Phyllis.